Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Unfuck Yourself podcast. We are here once again with the membership queens, Unfuck Yourself membership queens. They pay $50 a month to be able to sit in on this live, and then they get their own private Q&A after. They also get to hear some things that we can't put live on the podcast for everyone to hear that we have to cut out. So they get all the behind the scenes tea. They then also get tools, mini readings, and everything like that in their mini Q&A that they get after they get to sit in on the live podcast. You can join them at any time. Okay, we are continuing on our journey of emotional mastery. We have done emotional highs and lows. We have done how emotions are secretly like affecting your everyday life and decisions. We have done how emotions are not your intuition. Now we are diving into emotional things around communication. So, communication when you're emotional, okay? How to not regret what you say. Who here has said things and then like 20 minutes later they're like, fuck, I should not have said that. Or they're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassing that I said that. Or you lose your composure and then it honestly starts to, you know how we talk about self-image healing, inner self-image healing, like how to get your creator field so that people see your value in a certain way. Well, this is kind of like the physical action of that. Who here has seen, even on TV, somebody who has full control of over their emotions and they're just like way hotter because of it? You know what I mean? And or like a man who has full control over his emotions. Like I know we're mostly ladies in here. Like how fucking hot is that? Like that's like really hot, right? So we can also learn. I know like the feminine is like a lot of expression and that kind of thing. We can learn how to have that expression from feeling emotionally balanced. And then that expression is actually going to end up what we would prefer for it to do anyway. So we're going to be diving into that, how this amplifies your self image. So, mastering communication, in my opinion, would be like one of the closest things to being the greatest in the world. Like if you have mastered communication, you have mastered relationships, you have mastered your career, you have mastered, I mean, think about if you can communicate well, you can get all the raises you want, you can get all the clients you want, you can market in the way you want to, right? I've had so many reflections over the years with marketing of like trying to find the holes in my marketing of feeling like, oh, I just feel like I can't communicate the energy behind this. You know, who here has felt like, I feel this energy, but I can't communicate it. Like, I know this is good, but I don't know how to explain it. Or I know how I feel in this relationship, but I don't know how to explain it to this person right now. It's because you guys are all so intuitive and energy speaks so much louder than words. And so we haven't really learned the words to be able to communicate, but we're going to start on that process today. Now, of course, everything you hear today is like the foundation of the foundation of the foundation of what we'll dive into in the Unbothered workshop. And then from there, of even what more advanced stuff we'll dive into in later courses with emotional mastery and that kind of thing. But we've got to start here. So, with mastery of communication, the whole world kind of starts to open up to you. And unfortunately, most people have a different experience with communicating with people than what source originally intended communication to be like. It's almost impossible to connect when we most want to, right? With other people, with the people you're trying to sell to, with the people if you're trying to grow your social media or if you're trying to connect with friends or family or your partner, like it's it gets really almost hard to communicate what you're actually feeling or get them to do that or convey how you're feeling. We doubt when what we need is commitment and certainty from others, right? We don't know necessarily maybe how to communicate that in a right way. Our fears kind of come up and they kind of take over and they totally just strip us from being able to like share our ideas in that moment who here has experienced that. I always say the literal only reason I'm like remotely a little bit good at this is because I had to train so hard in this. This was not a thing that came naturally to me at all. If there was like the world's worst communicator, you would have seen my fucking face like in the dictionary definition, like thumbs upping, like, hey, it's me, Allie, world's worst communicator right here. That was literally me. And so I made it my mission a few years ago, in career and in relationships, I'd say about 4 years ago to really start, about five now, to really start diving into this and like, how can I fucking market in the way that I can paint a picture for people of the transformation they can get on the inside. How can I express myself in relationship, but in a way where I get what I want and I'm not like pushing the other person away in doing so. And I made it my life's fucking mission, you guys, for the last like, oh no, my sound is still on my laptop. We don't want that. I made it my life's mission for the last like 5 years to really, really fucking like figure that out. So I am here to share what I have learned and the source kind of level of emotional mastery around communication. Because if you don't have emotional mastery, you're not going to be able to fucking communicate because your emotions will be taking over. Again, you won't be able to think because you're now in fight or flight because your emotions have taken over. Your blood rushes from your head. You're not really fucking smart anymore. You can't think. You have no more like logic. And so you can't think about what to say. And you start to feel like you're choking, like who here feels like they just can't say words. Like you just feel like it gets stuck right here in your throat. Well, lucky for everyone here, you guys are way more advanced than I ever was. And you are going to do this so much faster than me. And I really, really want this for you. So it's fortunately, we have been taught unfortunately, we haven't been taught how to communicate correctly. And how we've been taught is really not the source way. Like who here has heard, you probably heard it in therapy or like somewhere on TikTok from someone who's been in therapy. It's like, I feel like this when you do this. Like who here has heard that that like formula before? When you do like this, I feel like this. Everyone's like me. Yeah, that's probably the worst fucking way to communicate. The second you say you to somebody else, they're on defense mode. You're not going to get what you want from them. We'll dive into that in a little bit. But we've been taught ways to communicate, but it is not the source way. And even the advice of just let them know how you feel, there's an art to that. Because again, the second you say when you do this, I feel this, or, when you did it the other day, I got like this. The second you say the other person spikes up. Who feels like energetic spikes from people? The spiky feeling, like the spiky energy. Their energetic spikes go up, their heart gets closed, and now you feel like you're knocking at their door to open up their heart and you can't get in, And that's what starts to happen the second you say you. So as fun as it is to say you and let the other person know what they did wrong, it's not going to help us get what we want, right? And self-love, this is so helpful in amplifying your self-love levels too, because self-love is giving yourself what you want, right? So the bad advice out there will tell you, don't hold yourself back, be authentic, express what you want when you want. But again, we kind of touched on this in the other episode. Again, when you're trying to express yourself, let's say your partner comes home from work, it's 6 p.m., they're tired, they had a long day, and now you're going up to them and telling them what they did wrong. Are you going to get the response you want out of them in that moment? Probably fucking not. They're going to be on defense, one, because you're saying you. Two, they just had a long day at work. The project didn't work out the way they wanted it to. They just got yelled at by their boss or had to fire a coworker, had to fire their employer, whatever it is, right? And even if they had a great day, maybe they had such a fulfilling day where they were talking so much and they just want to go home and relax. Oh no, did I lose you guys? We're back. That was weird. I froze for a second. Can we hear me? Okay, go. And let's say they even are talking so much at work and they have a good day, but they're expending so much energy, they want to go home and relax. Well, what the bad advice is out there is they'll be like, don't hold yourself back, be authentic. It, quote, it is a form of self love to just say what you want when you need to say it. Worst advice fucking ever. The source definition of self love is to put yourself first and get what you want out of situations. Are you going to get what you want from your partner when they come home tired from work and now you're saying, you this, you that, I felt like this way? No. You're going to get what you want when you get them on a good day, when you get them maybe the next morning before they go to work, or maybe you wait till the weekend, right? You get them when they're in a place of a good mood. Then you bring it up in a way that we're going to talk about today of how to bring something up. And then you're going to get what you want out of the situation because they're in a good place. You've now looked at the reflection. You've now learned how to communicate the thing that you're wanting to communicate. And now you have them set up in a place where you're going to get the response that you want. So that's a big thing of what we are going to focus on today. We're going to kind of like all the bad advice out there, we're going to pull it out of our brain, throw it on the ground and like squish it up a little and throw it away. We don't need it. So today we're going to cover the source science of what is really taking place during communication and how to communicate to boost your self-love area of life. And who remembers what happens when we boost our self-love area of life? I'll give you a second to think about it. What is self-love? Can we remember? Making ourself a priority, putting ourself first. The definition of self-love, that's a source definition. So if we're upping the self-love part of our life and we're making ourselves a priority, well, what's going to happen? Other people are going to start making us a priority. Money will start making us a priority. Yes, good. Other people will prioritize us. Relationships will start to prioritize you. People will start to buy what you're selling more and prioritize buying from you over other people or over whatever else they were going to pay for, whatever. So all good things come from learning emotional mastery around communication. So I think you're going to really like this one. The more, you're going to feel more empowered than you've ever felt and being able to express yourself really eloquently. And today we start kind of the foundation, right? The foundation of the foundation for the highest frequency way to communicate and connect to the world from like the source science perspective of it. So this is one of my favorite things that I've been still am studying and learning. And I've had this like insane desire to master communication. Half because of intuitively, I just knew that all of the information out there like was not the highest frequency information around communication. And when I would try it, it just didn't really seem to like work for me. Fortunately and unfortunately, if things aren't a source way of doing something, they don't work for, people, high frequency souls like yourself. So it can get frustrating. So I just knew there was more out there. And another reason why I decided to learn communication is because I was the world's worst communicator and I would either hold things in to the point of blowing up then a few months later. Like I would literally be like, Justin, April 21st at 6 p.m. you texted me this and it's like fucking 2023 at this point. And I'm talking about like 2021. And like to the point where that was actually a thing that would happen. So I would either hold it in and then it would like boil up and I would get so resentful. And then finally it would just like word vomit out and I would just lose my mind. Or I would get really, really defensive, start yelling back. Cause I grew up Italian. Like who else here is Italian? You yell at each other all the time. Like it's just a thing. So it was just, everyone was just yelling at each other all the time growing up. So I was like, well, this is just how you express. And me, yeah, So I thought that was normal, but then it wasn't effective because when I would get yelled at, I wouldn't want to fucking listen to what the person was saying, right? I didn't like respect the person who was yelling at me. So people think like yelling or being kind of like the hard ass bitch is going to like be effective. All it does is make people scared of you. And if people are scared of you, what's going to happen is they're going to go into fight or flight. they're not going to be as smart. They're not going to do what then you want them to do. Like, as somebody who runs their own company, I couldn't even imagine yelling at anybody who is on my team. Like, I couldn't even imagine, because the second you do that, they are now terrified of you. Well, now their work's going to get worse, because now they're in their fight or flight. And if they're in their fight or flight, they have no blood in their brain. They can't fucking think. And so they're not smart at what they're doing any longer. And so now they're so terrified. Who here has a boss they're scared of? Or who here is a boss and maybe one time you did yell at someone and then you notice their kind of quality of work go down, right? They just get scared of you. And I don't want that. I don't want people to be fucking like scared of me, right? I want people to want to work their hardest in their role, and yelling at them is not the way to do that. Patrice said, grateful to say I love my bosses. Yeah, we're not yelling at anybody over here, because it's just not the way people, it's effective in the ways that, yeah, maybe people are then like scared of you, but those people are then not going to be smart any longer at their job. They're going to literally, if I look at intuitively, 60 to 68% of their work, how good it normally is, it will tank. Like you will lose 68% of their genius by, yelling at them or making them feel bad about a mistake they made or not doing something in the way that you want them to do it or whatever it is. Another reason why communication is important is because if you're not communicating exactly what you want from people on your team, they're not like fucking, mind readers. They're not going to know what you want. And then if they don't fully know what you want, they're going to do their best and you're going to get mad at them because of you not communicating that great and what you wanted. And now you're mad at them and now they're in fight or flight and now their level of work goes down 68%. It's like a vicious cycle. So I've looking back, and if you were to look through all of my even past relationships and even my current relationship a few years ago, there were a lot of problems that I traced back to communication issues. Like my partner seeing me the wrong way, trying to express and communicate who I am and who I am in the relationship. And like if it wasn't going well, and trying to prove myself and trying to like, who here has sent the, book paragraph text to a man trying to prove their worth, right? Like that's not going to work, but I've done it. So me all the time. Yeah, it doesn't work. You just quit while you're ahead. I've tried. There's better ways. We'll talk about them today. So that was me. Like, I deserve more than this. I don't deserve this because of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10, and like listing out reasons like, don't do it. So finally I was like, I don't like the way this is working out for me, because internally, I've been working on so much self-image stuff to really make my creator feel magnetic, to really feel value, to really be seen as somebody to respect, because I'm respecting myself. And I did so much self-image work around my own belief systems, around like how I view myself internally, and then how I viewed myself internally and how I was responding and reacting emotionally with communication and situations and relationship and career. It just wasn't adding up. Like how I was responding emotionally was like a 10-year-old, and how I felt internally was like this really, really elevated, high value version of myself. Who has that? Like when you're alone, you feel like, oh my God, like I really feel magnetic. I really feel valuable. But then when you go to communicate, it's like you turn into like you're 15 years old again. And I was noticing that pattern in myself. And I was like, yes, great. You guys are going to do this way faster than I did. It took me way too long. You don't have to take that long. So it kind of turned this into like, what if I aspired to be a like top communicator, like in the source aligned way? Like what would open up in my life, and what it opened up after all those years of diving into it. And I still am like, I'm not sitting here saying I'm like, the fucking perfect at it, right? But all it's opened up, and what it's still opening up, is all of those years of sitting down and having like really like in deep thought with source and with my teacher and with studying it in the source way, studying myself, studying other people, trying different things and going, oh, okay, people respond better with this. They don't respond better with this. Okay, marketing seems to do better this way. It doesn't do as good this way. I would like play kind of trial and error game with it. And I was able to really shift a lot with communication and learn a lot in those fears, and I still am. And then as intuition, reaches new levels, I was actually like able to start to see things on a science level, like with communication and like on a neuroscience level, like what you have to say to someone to get their brain to click and be like, oh, I actually want to be on this other person's side. The second you're like you against them, you're done, right? And I started to really understand, because I can read people's thoughts really easily. I would say something and read how their thoughts felt right after I said it. And I spent a lot of years doing this. And I realized, okay, I said it this way. They didn't like that. They felt this way. Okay, I said it this way. Oh, they want to now show up the best for me. They want to now um, do my request, right? Like there's a way to ask people favors where they then feel like they're doing you a favor. And so there's a way to do all of this stuff. And it's a really cool source way of communicating. So there was when I looked in, about like 94-ish% of all human communication is nonverbal. Okay. And so that like motivated me, because I was like, well, fuck, like, how can we make this verbal? Because we're so intuitive. So you guys can feel energy so easily, right? You have a lot of empathy. You can have an energy and then be like, wait, how do I explain this? And for me, with what I do with work, if I'm giving if someone's paying for a private session and I'm picking up information on them and reading energy off of them, I've got to be able to fucking put it into the English language, what the fuck I'm seeing, so that they can be helped. So that's really what pushed me too, is I was like, oh my God, to be able to even tell people the energy I'm reading, I don't even know, energy speaks so much louder than words. I don't even know how to communicate this. So I made it my mission to be able to communicate the energy that you're feeling, because even if you're not an intuitive going out there doing readings, you're all intuitive, and you can all feel when your boyfriend's upset. And then he's going to say, no, I'm not upset. And then you're going to be like, no, I feel like you are. But how many of you have had that, but you can't communicate the feeling that's coming up, right? And so, but if you were to be able to communicate, you could be like, well, do you feel blah, 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 blah? They're going to be like, holy shit, that's exactly how I feel. How'd you know that? You might even be able to know how they feel before them. There's a lot of times with Justin, because I can read thoughts and energy, I'll know how he's feeling before he even is fully conscious of how he's feeling. So I can literally be like, oh, are you? And I never, even though I know that they're feeling this way, I always put it into a question so that no one's like, if you just tell somebody, they're going to want to defend. So instead I put it into a question, right? And I'm like, oh, are you feeling like blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you know what? Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I am. And it helps him get to that feeling faster too. So you can use this to help other people, to help yourself, right? If you can communicate to yourself even what you're feeling and put it into words, into like language, human language, then you are going to be able to shift your emotions so much quicker too. Because what's the number one rule about emotions? You've got to know what actual emotion it is and why, to be able to get down to the bottom of the reflection of it and to be able to shift it, like we talked about the last time. So I knew there were so many better ways to communicate and learn how to translate energy into words. And if you've got the right words, then you can see, like, in the spiritual world and in the world of channeling and all of that, which you all do, whether you realize it or not. Probably you realize it. One of the things that you can start to talk to source, and you can talk to other like high frequency beings, and you can talk to really any being out there. But I wouldn't talk to any being out there. I wouldn't advise that. I would just talk to source and like really high frequency ones. There's other ones to probably stay away from. But when you start to talk to like the ascended masters and from the sixth and seventh realm, and if you don't know realms, we talk about that in other podcasts. But what you'll find is that they're like, it's really hard to explain humans. They like humans are very complicated because we have a lot of complicated emotions. So there wasn't even language built around like how deeply emotional that we can feel and be and why. Um, and and the reason that is because the human language is so limited in comparison to the things you can see, right? And the things you can feel. And I've had a lot of experiences where I have seen things. I have like you can see things in different realms, you can see things in people's energy and pulling like information, but communicating that turned out to be really, really hard, right? So you hear all these amazing things, you can feel these amazing things, you feel these emotions, you have all these ideas. Communicating ideas is one of the hardest things. But in communicating them, it's like almost seems like it's impossible. So I started to see things that when I had to explain it, like in class or teaching or communicating with marketing or communicating with Justin or communicating an idea to a team member, I just couldn't do it because I was like, I wish I could just put you in my brain and you could see what I'm trying to say, but there just weren't words for it. So there wasn't and I couldn't find anybody who was like out there being like, this is how you communicate energy. Like this is what you do. So I then decided to take matters into my own hands and really dive into it, myself. So one of the things I want to really start with is and we can only get so far into this hour with it, but I want to start with some components of communication that you guys definitely don't know are there. And I didn't know were there. And this is, of course, like a long-term mastery to go on, but we're going to get to like the foundation of it today. So I want to start with communication in relationships. When you are not getting what you want in the relationship, okay? So we have different aspects of communication relationship, but let's start with we're not getting what we want in relationships. So let's say let's say you really love when in the relationship let's say you really hate when you're at dinner and your whoever you're with, your partner, like is now looking at the other girls, walk by the dinner table, or you're in public and they're like, you catch them like looking around and their eyes like aren't locked in on you, right? Who here has that happened to at some point? Me. So let's say you're like, fuck that. I fucking want to literally punch you in the face when you do that. Like the rage that comes up during that is insane. Like maybe it's just me. Who else has felt like that rage inside of you? Glad I'm not alone. Yeah, no, you're definitely not. Um, Even when your dad does that. Yeah, yeah. It's just like, you disrespectful motherfucker, right? You know what I mean? So now instead of saying that, because that's not going to get you very far, your husband on his phone. Yes. Okay, great. So let's say, you know, you're at dinner, your partner's looking at other girls. Which one are you going to get what you want with? Person one. I hate when you look at other girls like, stop doing that, Brendan. Brendan just came out of nowhere. I don't know who Brendan is, but stop doing that, Brendan. Like, oh, you always do that. Like, pay attention to me. Why are you doing that? Or I saw you look at that girl's ass. Like, I know what you're doing. Like, just go date her. Just go date her. You don't like my ass? Right? Is that going to that person A or person B? Baby, I love when your eyes are like locked in on me. Like The other day when you were just like totally focused in on me, it made me feel so hot, like I was so wet for you, whatever, 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 right? Which one's gonna work better? Person B. Now, you may think, well, Allie, I'm not getting to express myself. You know when you can express yourself fully and get mad is in your own container, in your own situation, in a group of women, alone in your own house, whatever it is. You can play F You by Miley Cyrus and just fucking scream and throw yourself around and get it out of your body, right? But self-love purposes, if you want to get what you want from that man, I don't care if the time that he paid attention to you was 2 fucking seconds long. Out of maybe you were in a 4-year relationship and he paid attention to you for like 2 minutes one time. Focus in on that time, remind him of that time, tell him how much you loved it. They will do more of it. 100 fucking percent every time. It's clockwork. They will do more of it. Okay. So if you go person A route, you're doing a lot of damage to a lot of things. One, you are making yourself look like a low self-image person, right? It might trigger a self-image wound, but that's something for you to look at the reflection of and for you to shift, right? For you to shift with your coach, with your therapist, with yourself, with a friend. But we don't want to respond from the reflection because the low self-image person is not who you are. It's just a limiting belief that you have that is just coming up to be shifted so that you can remember who you are and cultivate that higher self-image. So we don't want to respond from a reflection wound. It's not going to help anyone because one, now people are going to see you in the way that you respond. So if you are responding that way, they're going to start to be like, oh, she's not really confident. She is like now, even if they do focus in on you, it's gonna be a pity focusing in on you. And then you're not even gonna appreciate them focusing in on you because you're like, you're doing this out of pity. How many times have you been like, I want you to get me more flowers, and they get you flowers, and then you're like kind of pissed they got you flowers because you're like, well, now you're only doing this because I told you to get me fucking flowers. And they're like giving you pity flowers, right? Just like how the universe gives us pity donuts. Remember pity donuts? So I don't know about you, but I don't want pity flowers. I don't want pity dates. I don't want pity attention. I do want to authentically express myself, but in a way where self love, I'm also getting what I want from that person. So, formula to this, and we'll dive more into the formula in Unbothered, but the workshop. But formula is step one, identify the emotion. Okay, he's looking at other girls. I feel like he's being disrespectful. Maybe it's disrespectful. Or I feel like he's not fully seeing my physical beauty. I feel like he's not getting physically what he wants from me, right? Identify the reflection. Let's say you feel like he's not fully seeing your physical beauty. Okay. Okay. So I understand this is a reflection. He is just acting out the script in my creator field right now. The script is I'm not fully appreciating my beauty. So he is acting out me feeling like my beauty isn't getting appreciated. Okay, great. This is good. Now, in this moment, you're at dinner. You're not going to be able to sit there and journal your whole fucking reflection out. Okay. But if you can just identify what it is, it's going to already lower your emotions. You're going to be like, okay, great. This isn't personal. This is just an acting out of my creator field, right? That's all it is. Okay, now I'm a little less emotional. Now, step two, let me bring in an emotional mastery tool to turn my emotions down a little bit, right? Okay, maybe, and we'll learn those in Unbothered, but maybe one of them could be, let me pick a color, red. Let me look around and find 5 red things around me right now. Well, now my brain's so focused on that, I come out of my fight or flight response. Okay, great. So now I've identified the reflection. It's not personal. It's literally just a script being acted out from my own belief. Great. I'll look at that when I get home tonight. 2, let me calm down my emotions so I don't just fucking like go off. And then what you'll do is you'll law of opposing forces the man. You'll be like, focus on me more. Don't look at other girls. You know what's going to happen? He's going to look at other girls even more because of the law of opposing forces. You say don't do something, he'll do it. You say do something, he won't do it. It's anybody. It's what happens. So now you're turning down your emotions. Okay. That's step 2. Step 3 would go, okay, what do I not want him to do? I don't want him to look at other girls. Okay. How can I spin it to a positive? So instead of saying don't do that, how can I spin it to I want you to do this? What's the opposite of not looking at other girls? Oh, focusing in on me. Okay. So step 3 is figuring out what's the opposite of what they're doing and what do you actually want them to do instead. Okay, step 3, it's focusing in on me. Okay, great. Step 4 is then just going, baby, I loved 3 years ago when you did that thing where you just like we were like just locked eyes the whole time. Like you were like looking me up and down. It was like no one else in the world existed. And you were just like really focused in on me, right? And it made me feel blah, blah, blah. Good feeling it made you feel. It made me feel like I wanted to cook more for you, right? Like whatever they want more of from you, like just say it made me feel like I wanted to do this more for you. Because it probably did. If they always locked eyes with you and they want you to cook pancakes in the morning, you probably would fucking cook pancakes in the morning if they were doing that, right? So whatever it is, like it made me want to do more of this for you. It made me like made my pussy so wet for you. Whatever route you want to fucking take it. Next up is slut camp. Like trust me, it's coming. We're gonna go on a slut camp era soon. Anyway, so we like whatever it was that I would say one thing it made you, and then one thing it made you want to do for him, right? So, and then you have he's like locked. He's like, oh my God, yeah, I love that. Now he's going to associate like, oh, if I am fully giving her attention right now, then it's going to make her feel like this. And men want to naturally, biologically, they want to provide. So provide a feeling for you, provide a thing for you, right? It's going to activate this literal biological thing in them. And then 2, they're going to be like selfishly, wait, if I like focus on her more, I get pancakes in the morning. Like, fuck yeah. I want pancakes in the morning. So that would be the formula. And we will dive into this is a very high, like look down at the formula. We will dive into the full formula and like way more emotional mastery practices and way more specific things in the Unbothered workshop. But we only have so much time here today. So at a, bird's eye view level, that would be what you, want to do in moments like that. Now, the key part here and the part that will fuck you over from accomplishing this formula is your emotions, because people don't really hear the words you say. They feel the feeling coming behind the words. So if you are faking this in any way, they will feel it. It won't work. This is where I fucked myself over a lot of times, is where I would try and like say the nice thing, but my energy was saying, fuck you, you motherfucker. Don't fucking ever look at another woman again, else I'm gonna fucking cut your dick off. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like what my energy was saying. My words were saying, I love when you just pay attention to me. And it wasn't connecting. So the thing that is going to screw you up in this process is your emotions. That's what will make or break this formula for you. So learning to calm the emotions down so you can properly communicate is key, right? And remembering the stuff that we've learned from therapy or the communication tools we've learned from TikTok from someone who's maybe been in therapy are not going to work in the way you want them to, right? Emotions are great and they're showing us something. They're showing us, oh, we have a reflection here. I love my emotions because they're showing me where I'm out of alignment with my fullest self-image self of seeing my physical body perfection or appreciating my physical body, right? I haven't appreciated myself lately, right? So all you have to do is go, oh my God, they're just literally acting out my creator field. This is the greatest gift right now. It's literally not even them. Anybody would be acting out this part of my creator field right now. I could sit any person ever in front of me right now and they would act out my creator field in this way. So it's going, oh my God, wait, they're a great teacher for me right now. I've actually been wanting to feel hotter. I've been wanting to fully appreciate my physical body. This is great because this is an awful feeling and I never want to feel this again. So this is great. This is happening, right? That's even that in itself calms the emotions down. Then we go to step two. And who remembers step two? Let's write it in the chat. What was step two? Good. We're just waiting for the writers. Good, good. Find something like a color. Good. Yep. Step two, bring the emotional mastery tool in, right? So step two is bring the emotions down. We'll have a lot of tools to do that. One of them that we'll give away here and to start with now is pick a color, find like 5 things that are that color around you, right? Good. That is going to be your best friend, those 2 steps in bringing your emotions down. Okay. Then we move on to the next steps, which will only work if we successfully got our emotions down. Now, there's many other tools to do so. Again, we only have so much time in here. We will hit those in unbothered because the colors might not work for everyone. There's other and many tools. I would do multiple at one time, honestly, to guarantee my emotions coming down, to make sure the emotions come down. Then you can truly get your energy behind it. And what you're saying is true. You do love when their eyes are locked in on you, but you might be a little busy thinking about how much you hate that they're looking at somebody else. But if you can get those emotions down, realize they're acting out your creator field, and then really focus in on actually cultivating the feeling of love that you have for when they're focused on you, then say it. Don't say it until you cultivate the feeling of actually appreciating when they do that. Maybe it takes you the whole dinner. Maybe you don't even say it to them to 3 hours later. However, this is not a speed race right now. However long it takes for you to cultivate that feeling, that's when you say it. You want to make sure your energy is behind your words or else they will call bullshit. This is where I fucked up many times. It took me a lot of years to realize, oh, my energy actually has to be behind what I'm saying or else people will read my energy and my thoughts because they're very loud. So, which is good and bad, right? So that is the most important part. Okay. Now, there are times where if you're not super triggered, if you're like, a little triggered, you can take that emotion and turn it into like this playful thing. Like maybe they look at another girl and you like growl at them. You're like just like growl or whatever. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? And you can just be like, pay attention to me or something like cute like that. But you cannot be triggered with that. And I would suggest not doing that quite yet. That's a different formula for a different emotional thing for a different time. We'll get into it in Unbothered. But right now, that's only if you're fully behind a playful energy. You cannot do it if there's an ounce of anger. It again will not work. They will call bullshit on anything that you are saying. So that would be, I want you guys to really start and practice that formula. Okay. Now, when you are communicating with anybody, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your employees, maybe it's people at work, maybe it's your friends, whatever, you want them to do something. Let's say they've never done it before. Even if they've never done it before, you're going to say to them, I love when you do that, right? Let's say you have somebody in your, I'm making this up. This isn't like anyone on my team, but let's say you have a team member in your emails. They're answering your emails and they're answering the emails like very short and like not very exciting. Like there's no exclamation points. They're not sounding like the brand, right? You text me, I have 27 exclamation points after like every sentence. I want people in the emails to feel very loved, welcomed, excited to be there. Again, this is a made up story, but let's say someone was doing that in the email. They weren't responding in like a happy, joyful, welcoming way. I would approach it, and how COO Sarah would approach it is, because I don't really lead the team much anymore, Sarah does, but how we approach that is, oh my God, I love when you use exclamation points in the emails. People feel so loved when you do that. Even if they've never used a damn exclamation point before in their life, you're just going to say, I love when you use exclamation points. They're going to be like, okay. And the neuroscience, the science part of this, their brain's going to go, okay, wow, I do a good job when I use exclamation points. I 100% guarantee the next time they send the email, they're using a fucking exclamation point. It happens every fucking time. I won't like give real examples of this in my team because obviously I'm not going to like out anybody. Also, that's like not beneficial, but it's like that. It's like, even if they've never used a fucking exclamation point in their life in an email for me, I'm going to tell them, oh my God, I love when you use exclamation points. Like they feel so much more loved when you do that. What I'm not going to do is go, yeah, it's really boring that you don't use exclamation points. Or even people who think they're communicating from a helpful place of going, hey, yeah, you're not really using exclamation points. Let's start using them. Even that, they're hearing the negative. Our brains naturally are going to go negative. So they're hearing, I'm not doing something right. What's going to happen? Law of focus is going to happen. So if I'm not doing something right, now my brain's going to start going, oh, I'm not doing something right here. I'm not doing something right here. Now you're going to start creating yourself to keep fucking up more things that you wouldn't have fucked up in the first place, because now you have, I don't do things right in my head. Well, now you as the CEO or the boss have fucked yourself over, because now this team member who normally does things really great, other than the exclamation points, is now fucking up other things they normally do great. And now their work has gone down. How much? Who remembers? How much has their work dipped? We talked about it earlier. What percent? 68. Good. Exactly. 68%. So you have fucked yourself over. Even if you are wanting your kids or your partner to help out around the house more, saying you don't help out around the house enough, they're literally, now you're going to get pity help and they're going to be resentful, or they're going to help even less, right? Instead, what would we say instead? Who has an idea? And anyone who's listening to this on the recording, I want you to think for a second, what would you say instead? I like this. I love when you help around the house. I love when we do this together. I love when you help around the house. Good. Let's add another layer to that. Why do you love when they help around the house? We do two whys. One, because of something it makes you feel like, and another because of something that it makes you want to then give to them. I love when you cook for me. You make me feel special. Good. I love how you help around the house. You do such a great job organizing your things. Great. Yep. I love when you, we could even get specific around helping around the house. Like, what do you actually want them to do more of? So, oh my gosh, I love when you do laundry. It makes me feel like so much less stress, like I have one less thing to do. And it makes me really want to blank for you, really want to do this for you. It makes me really attracted to you, whatever it is. Right? So something that it makes it you feel like, then something it makes you want to then like do or be for them. Right? And so then they'll start to associate in their brain, helping around the house. I'm now providing, you to feel special. And now I'm getting pancakes in the morning, right? They will selfishly then also connect it with the other thing. So that's when you are going to get so much more out of somebody, and when they're actually going to want to do it for you. They're going to want to do it versus them doing it for you because you force them to. They're mad about it. They're kind of resentful. And then you push them away in other ways, or you push them away from like remembering to do that. They have to feel like them helping you, they're getting a benefit. So you've got to show them, tell them, communicate to them the benefit. This is fun. Thank you. I think this is fun too. Okay, here we go. I love when you clean up because it makes the home feel so happy and it makes me want to play more games with you guys. Love that. That's great. That's so good. Like it gives, I'm assuming this is your kids, it gives mom more energy to be able to play games with you guys because now the house is clean. Literally great. Like that will work wonders. So that is what you want to do in communicating to someone. You get what you want, they get what they want, and everybody, wins, right? And they're going to feel like they want to do more for you because you're not yelling at them. Everyone, here's what I had to remember. And this is specifically with men. I grew up with a lot of trauma around men, which I'm sure a lot of people in here can relate to. And so I see faces are like, yep. So I remember in dating, and especially when not just random relationships, but serious relationships. I've really only been in two actual long-term, more quote serious relationships. But in those relationships, I wouldn't really see men as people. I would see them as somebody who needed to be perfect to make me happy. And I don't know who here can relate to that, but I would see them as you can't fuck up at all, or else you're going to trigger any problem I had with men growing up, and I'm not going to know what to do with it. Then I get emotional. Then I either shove it down, don't say anything, and then I yell at you eventually, or I just fucking blow up on you right now. I'll blow up on you either now or eventually, pick one. It's just kind of what would happen. So I wasn't really seeing men as humans who also have trauma, who also don't feel good enough, who also have inadequacy feelings, right? A lot of men do. A lot of men feel incredibly, incredibly inadequate. And not that anyone's better or worse, but sometimes worse than women because women have been in a way taught of we're allowed to express it a little more than men have been taught, right? So they have a lot of feelings of low self-image and inadequacy. And so the second you are yelling at them, what's it going to trigger? Them not feeling good enough. Well, they don't feel good enough. They want to eventually stop trying. But if you are praising them for the littlest, tiniest fucking things, make everything the biggest fucking deal ever, right? If you're praising them for that, they're gonna keep doing it more. This is anyone. I do this with team members. I would do it with, I do it with little kids, like my little niece and nephew, right? When I have kids, I hope that I'll practice this then too. But that's the mindset that you want. That's the science behind communication. Think about how someone talks to you. What's going to make you want to do something? Oh, you never fucking take out the trash. Can you help me out a little bit? Can you do this? Or, oh my God, baby, I love when you take out the trash. It just makes me feel less stress on me. And it just makes me want to bring you flowers more. I don't know what it is. It's this weird thing that comes over me, And you're gonna want to take out the fucking trash. You're gonna be like, oh, wow, I love taking out the trash. Because selfishly, it's going to make you feel good and you'll get flowers. And then selfishly, you know how it makes the other person feel. So then you feel good making someone else feel good. We're all very selfish humans. Everybody's selfish as fuck. So we have to literally communicate in that way of okay, how can I communicate what I want them to do more of with them also feeling like they're doing me a favor, they are getting what they want too, right? How do I get someone to love doing me a favor? And that's what we want to think about. Think about how you would want someone to ask you. That other person's a human too. And of course, they could be triggering a other reflection in us. What we have to remember though is they are just showing me a misalignment in myself. I'm only triggered right now because there's a part of me that's being that way toward myself, and they're showing me to stop being that way toward myself so I can elevate, get whatever I'm trying to create right now. It'll put me in alignment for that. right? And that's what we have to remember. And then the other person is also a human too, and that's what I have to remember with men, specifically for me, for like what I've experienced with men growing up. I had to remember men aren't just this like thing there to make you like to respond exactly how you want them to respond so you don't lose your shit. They're there to help you uncover the things that you didn't know aren't healed yet. And also, they have their own stuff too. Like, they also probably feel pretty inadequate too, right? If they haven't, I guarantee they do if they haven't gone and done like a deep self image mastery on themselves for 10 years, right? I guarantee there's a part of them somewhere that feels pretty inadequate. And so you building them up 100% is going to make them do what you want them to do, right? Now, this is going to be a process. And I don't want you to beat yourself up when you fail at it, because you'll get this way quicker than I ever did, because I failed at it for like years. But just like riding a bike or anything, you will like fall off of it a few times to be able to like tweak your form and get it right. So when there are times where you don't get this in the way that you would like to, once again, this is a mastery, so it will take time. Don't beat yourself up, because if you remember to emotionally neutralize, if they're triggered by anything you just said, you are also giving them a beautiful reflection. Just like how if you're triggered by what someone else is saying, they're giving you a reflection in order for you to level up. If they're triggered by what you say, you are giving them a reflection. So don't beat yourself up if you slip or call them a name or do the X, Y, and Z. Because if you start to beat yourself up about it, then your creator field will create them beating you up about it. But like if I ever like slip with Justin, like the other week, you know, you're in your luteal phase, you know what I mean? And then they just really get under there, get under your skin. And I like lost my emotional neutrality, and I like started to get like defensive, and I think I hurt his feelings in the process. And so instead of beating myself up about it, of like, oh, I should know better, blah, 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 it's, oh my God, well, I just like gave him the gift of a reflection where now his business will be better because of it, right? It made him feel inadequate. He then is going to work on shifting that, because that's an uncomfortable feeling to feel. Now he will be more confident in his business that he has started and is doing and is helping men, right? So even when you do, you know, not fully just master communication in 2 seconds, because it's not a realistic thing, right? It's like trying to do a backflip after like 2 seconds of learning one, or learning like the mechanics of one, or like one, not even the mechanics of the whole backflip, one mechanic of like a whole big thing, which is what we're doing now. We will slip up or whatever. When you do, it's important you don't beat yourself up. The next kind of point to touch on this, lots of questions on, I can hear thoughts in here. Lots of questions on in the moment when you're triggered. Like, what's the best thing to do so you don't regret what you say? Like how do you really, really not respond from like that to blowing up place, or that like little girl place, right? Or little boy place. If you can't, this formula is easier said than done. And if you can't master it right away in the moment, what you can do is from like a just open-hearted place. You can even visualize your heart kind of like opening up. And energetically, I see the heart as like a big green ball. So you can see the green ball getting bigger. And just say, I'm not going to respond in a way that's beneficial for any of us right now. Let's take 20 minutes so I can like gather my thoughts and come back. In that 20 minutes, you go, you be alone, you remember the formula, you remember all the other things that if you come to the Unbothered workshop, you'll learn. And then you can have like a game, like a script, like a game plan. And you can go back out, you'll be less emotionally charged, and then you can continue the conversation. What you don't say is I need space from you. Is Justin would do that one a lot. He'd be like, I just need space from you. And I'm like, well, there's probably a better way to say that. So you can say, make it about you. Never say you, never say, make it so it's benefiting the other person. It's what I do all of the time because it is, right? The other day, and I don't know if any of the VIP queens are in here. I have a VIP group for Career Formula, and we have 4 VIP queens in there. And the other day, the call's supposed to be 1 hour, but we go 2 hours every time because it's fun in there and like we have a lot to talk about. We go 2 hours, and I was going around kind of giving everybody a channeled, intuited business plan for the next year. And I was intuiting exactly what they should be doing energetically, physically for their business in the next year. Well, I didn't realize, but it took about an hour for each person. So I started with one queen, about an hour went by, went to the next queen, about an hour went by. 2 hours are now going by. The thing's only supposed to be 1 hour. We usually go 2 hours anyway. But I'm like, oh my gosh, we have 2 more queens to get to. What am I going to do? We can't be here for 4 hours. I have other places to be over Zoom soon. They have also a life, like, and nobody's brain is working right past 2 hours. I mean, it's you're kind of, no matter how smart or intelligent or non-ADHD you are, your brain's just not fully functioning. And my brain with my channeling, like that's like doing basically 2 full one-on-one sessions back to back. Like my intuition brain also needs a break, right? So I'm like, okay, this won't benefit me. It won't benefit them if we stay here another 2 hours. So I was like, okay, guys, it could have been disappointing for the 2 queens who didn't get the business plan that day. But I was like, you guys, like, trust me, you're not going to fully be able to take in what I'm saying. You've already been sitting here for 2 hours. You've already gotten so much information of just hearing me talk to the other queens. Like you've probably taken some tools and tips from their business plans. There's a lot that's happened. Let's take a break. Let's come back on a different day this week. We'll get it in this week. And that way you guys can be fresh, ready to take in information, right? Like see how much better that is with communicating versus me just going, yeah, no, okay, we ran out of time. Like, we'll figure it out when to meet up next, right? But if you can get someone to understand how it's benefiting them, because it is, then you have them on your side and on your team. And even if they maybe had a reflection of like, like I didn't get to go first, now I have to wait till Saturday or whatever it is, they're understanding like, yes, and that's a reflection. And like, I actually would rather being fully present and not being sitting here for 2 hours already. And Allie's intuition be back to 100% because she just used it for 2 hours straight. So they can see that. So when you communicate that, you always want to make it very, very clear how it's benefiting the other person. Now, what happens if someone says an idea and you think it's the stupidest fucking idea ever and you have to answer them? What do you think we say? I want to see like, go ahead and write in the chat. Like someone says an idea. Let's say, your husband is like, I think we should move to Croatia. Like, I think tomorrow we pack the bags and we move to Croatia and it's going to make us so much more money and it's going to be a thriving time for our family. And you're like, what the fuck? Croatia? That's so random. Like, I want to stay here. My family's here. What would you first say? Let's see here. I can't help but be honest and like, that's a terrible idea. I understand. Okay, any ideas? Can you give me 3 reasons why? Okay. Oh, wow. How did you come up with that? Okay. That'd be really lovely to do, but maybe right now we can focus on enjoying where we live. Okay. I like the vein we're on. I would like to ask why he has the idea. I like the vein you guys are on. Asking questions is always good. What we can even add in there is finding the genius in what they just said. In every sentence, there's genius and there's the stupidest thing ever, right? Anything I say, you can find an equal amount of genius for an equal amount of the stupidest fucking thing ever. Anything, right? Like, I'm sure we can find why this podcast is the stupidest fucking thing ever. You know what I mean? And then you can equally go find why it's genius. It's the law of balance. There's equal amount of genius, and this is the stupidest fucking shit ever in every fucking thing ever. Okay. So, what would we think the genius would be in moving to Croatia? Or not? Well, in that statement, I want to see, it's a little bit of a trick question. In the statement, I want to move to Croatia to have a better business and life for our family. What's the genius in that? And if you're just listening to this on recording, just think of it in your head, but I'm waiting for the queens to respond in here. Great. He's thinking creatively, making a better life for the family. Good. Good. Wanting a better life. Good, you guys. Great. That's the genius. The genius is he wants to make a better life. So, what you do then is you go, oh my God, Jerry, it's fucking genius that you want to make a better life for our family. That's Jerry, you're a fucking genius, right? Like hype up the genius part, but again, your emotions have to be behind it. Emotions have to be behind it. Jerry, I don't know where these names are coming from. They're just coming out. Fucking Jerry, I know. Jerry and his Croatia move. These comments are great. Okay. I can't keep looking at them. You guys are funny. Okay. So Jerry, I love that you want to make a better life for our family. I am so behind that. I think that's genius. Next part. What if we sat down? And we came up with the best places and ways to be able to do that together and then use our intuition and go through and intuitively see which one feels the best? Jerry's in. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea, right? But if you say, Jerry, that's the stupidest fucking idea ever, which whoever the queen was who said, like, I just want to be real and tell you it's a horrible idea, literally same. Like I have so much fire in my chart. I'm an Aries. I'm Italian. My dad started off the boat from Italy. Like I have a lot of fire and reasons to just want to fucking say that's the stupidest shit ever. And that's great, but you're not going to get what you want from the person then. You will not get the response you want. Yes, it's kind of freeing, but you can authentically express while simultaneously getting what you want from the person. If you say, and I've done this, if you say that's the stupidest idea ever, what's going to happen? They are going to what? Law of opposing forces you. They're going to be like, no, it's not. It's the best idea ever. And they're going to get deeper into their belief that they should move to fucking Croatia. And then you're going to be like, the intuition says all red flags around moving to Croatia. And now they're like even deeper in their belief because their law of opposing forces you right now. And then you're not going to get what you want. So yes, it may be freeing in the moment to be like, that's a dumbass idea, but you're not going to then get what you want. Therefore, you're only free for about 10 seconds as you say that. Then after you're back in fucking jail and even more in Croatia jail. Like then before you know it, you're moving to fucking Croatia and now you're really not free because you never wanted to move there in the first place. So yes, it might be freeing for like 10 seconds, but what's also freeing is being able to authentically still express, but knowing how to mind ninja somebody and use neuroscience and the science behind communication and the source understanding of reflections, right? To express yourself authentically, but also get what you want in doing so. It is like the most genius thing you can do for yourself. So even people on the team, I want ideas from my team every fucking day. Like if you have an idea, give it to me. Like love ideas. If an idea like just isn't going to work or isn't going to fit or like doesn't really make sense with what we're doing, I'm not going to say like this is a fucking bad idea. Like this is the worst idea ever. I'm going to find the genius in the idea. Oh my God, this part of like wanting people to understand it this way is so fucking genius. Let's put our heads together and find like 3 other ways that we can do that and make that happen. right? But people are then they're going to hear, oh my God, part of my idea was genius. They're going to hear my idea was genius. Then they're going to want to give you more genius ideas. Law of focus, the more they're focused on my idea is genius, the more they're going to create genius ideas, which is going to help you, right? You want your husband to have more genius ideas instead of moving to Croatia when it's testing really low intuitively to move to Croatia. You need to get him law of focusing. I have genius ideas. I have genius ideas, right? Let's say you want your man. I get a lot of this. How do I get my partner on board with doing the inner work like I do? Well, you don't tell them to because then the law of opposing forces you and not do it. Nobody likes to be told what to do. You kind of go, like, oh my God, I just learned this really new thing. They're like, what is it? You wouldn't really care about it. You wouldn't want to know. Immediately, they're going to want to fucking know what you just learned. Then you can tell them what you learned. And that's it. And then you don't say anything. And then the next day, you say something else. You're like, oh, you wouldn't want to know this though. And they're like, well, no, I want to know. And you tell them again. And they're going to start to want to learn more and know more, right? But if you're trying to get a partner on board with like what you're, doing, you don't want to tell them to do it. Or you start to go, I love how much you do inner work on yourself. And men love competition. So you're like, most men don't do inner work on themselves. Like, I love how much you do it. Even if the man has never done inner work on himself a day in his fucking life, just, I love how self-aware you are. Like, that's really fucking cool. And they're going to start to like focus on, oh, inner work. Let me do more of it. And their brain is going to start to program in a way that's super beneficial for them and really helpful for you, right? Now, and this will be kind of a segue into our next episode, these communication tools can be used for good or they can be used to manipulate the fuck out of you, which is how people in the media, in Hollywood, on social media, ads are using it. So this can be used very, very light or it can be used for very, very dark, just like energy work can be used for very, if you're in dark forces, you know this, fuck dark forces. Energy work can be used for very light things. Energy work can be used for very dark things. This kind of communication is how, when clients come to me, I get them on their, out of their ego and onto their soul plan within one fucking session, because I know how I need to communicate to them in order to get it to click, in order to make them think it was their idea, right? And to shift, because no one likes to be told what to do. Now, you can use that to get someone in their highest alignment on their soul path, use it to basically get them really seeing their value, or you can use certain types of neurolinguistic programming, NLP communication to, manipulate someone, which we will get into in the next podcast episode of you're being manipulated and you don't even fucking know it because they're so fucking good at it. We'll get into that in the next podcast episode, but this can be used for both really, really good, because in this sense, you are getting your partner to do inner work on themselves, which is good for them. But there's people out there who you're getting manipulated by every single day that you don't even realize because they're so fucking masters of it that they are getting away with it, which we will go into in the next episode. Okay. Let's see here. I have a lot of bullet points here. But we've already been here for about an hour and 15 minutes. So let me see. Okay. Let's stop there. I feel like we gave a lot of information there. Start there. I don't want to overwhelm. Again, this is just the foundation of the foundation of the formula, the process, the things we will dive into, the neuroscience, the brain, what the brain's actually doing, what the energy is actually doing. We will dive into all of that in the Unbothered workshop, which if you're not in, we open doors back up. So we will leave that in the show notes for you. And now what we are going to do is we are going to dive into a Q&A with the membership queens. If you feel FOMO, you can join anytime, watch the recording, get some tools that I'm about to give them. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Truly, 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 you guys are so fucking elite. And I love how much everyone just really, really puts in the work on themselves. It's incredible. And I will see you guys next week. Okay. Bye.